Last time on Ruthless Ancestry League. Oh my god! Leave me alone, Warden! I'm so weak and bad at this game. Oh my god, don't touch me! I don't do enough damage. I need to go level up and get loot. Oh my god! I'm so bad at this game. No, don't hit me. Oh my god, I almost died. I beat up little. I beat in my pants just a little bit. I better run away and then stop playing for the day. Oh my god, I'm so terrible. Alright, welcome to episode 2 of Ancestry League Hardcore Solo Self-Found. I got afraid of the Warden and had to run away. So now I will just be leveling up. And I'm going to level up at the climb because I like the climb. I think it's just well, I like the ridge, but the climb has higher level enemies. So I'm just going to try to find maybe a couple yellow pieces. A little bit of loot, maybe a support gem. Ooh, superior conversion trap. I really don't want to die to the Warden, so you know, right now I'm pretty much all white gear. I mean, no one's okay if you're just all white. You can't have anything all white anymore because you know you're just not gonna be good enough if it's all white. Because all white is not all right. And right now, I am almost all white. And all white, not all right. Yeah, I'll go through the ledge. The ledge is where I like it anyways. I'm barely gaining experience though, but there's loot. And the loot is like, it's the same everywhere. I'm mostly trying to get loot more so than experience. A mana regeneration amulet would be pretty tasty right about now. Me some loot. I need some kind of loot. Scroll of Wisdom is a piece of loot. I mean, I guess I didn't specify what kind of loot. Give me an amulet. I need an amulet. Now, some people said that Ruthless was probably one of the best ways for a new player to enjoy the game. And I've thought about it for a little bit. And I'm gonna say no. I'm just gonna say no. Sure, it may allow you to learn the game a little bit more slowly so that you can adapt to the changes of the game, or the learning curve of the game. But no. Just no. Best way for a new player to start this game is softcore, trade enabled. You can buy stuff, you get to test it out. You can get more stuff. With Ruthless mode, you're engaging with so little mechanics that you might be able to learn the mechanics you're engaging with better. But in terms of builds and loot and variety, you're pretty limited with Ruthless mode. So I get the general thoughts of why people are saying that Ruthless mode is the best mode for new players. I understand what they're saying. They're just wrong. They are just wrong. I am over leveled. All I really do need is gear. And on top of that, because they're gonna have to play so slowly, if they are trying to follow the story, which I have never done, I don't care about the story of this game. It's all gameplay and building builds for me. Story doesn't matter. But if they are trying to pay attention to the story, the longer... Oh man, getting frozen seems like a bad idea. The longer they go between story bits, the more likely they are to forget those story bits. Now, what kind of slow is he putting on me? That is a brutal slow. One could say ruthless. I'm starting all over in the prison. I don't want that level of slow. Also seemed like they had like physical damage mitigation or something. Now the question, should you follow a starter guide for your first time? And I would say that all depends on who you are as a player. If you ain't got a lot of time to play and you're only going to be playing this game like, you know, 20 hours a league or a season, then yeah, you probably should follow a league guide. If you just don't give a shit about, you know, learning the mechanics of the game or how the game works, league guide, excellent there. If you're very casual and you just want to play the game with friends or something like that, then yeah, league guide, perfect. But if you're adventurous and you like to explore, I highly recommend going blind, no league guide. Like if you played Diablo 2 all the way through and you made all your own builds or Titan Quest or any of these other games and you enjoyed that process, I think following a league guide is going to be detrimental. The best way to do it is probably have a friend who plays Path of Exile. And then as you're playing the game, you can pop questions over to them so you can get spoon-fed the questions as you have them, versus having a guide that kind of circumvents the questions so you don't get the questions ever because the guide kind of, you know, just did it for you. But then again, I've never followed a guide, so I don't know the exact experience of using a guide. I understand some of them are pretty detailed. I don't know. There's something about using guides ifs me a little because, I mean, you're reading the guide versus like interacting with the game to figure shit out. But obviously different strokes, different folks. I also don't like POB that much. It's very useful, especially before the league starts. But if I want to test something out, I'd much rather go into the game and test it versus just looking at numbers and POB. But don't get me wrong, POB is great. I use it all the time. There is not a lot of good TV show out right now. Started watching Mob Psycho season 3. And then I stopped, I forgot why. Oh yeah, the new Path of Exile League came out. And I was doing it subtitled because the dub's fine. It's just, I usually watch subtitled and then I read it. And since I was watching subtitled, I couldn't play Path of Exile and watch Mob Psycho. So I've already forgotten what season 3 is all about. So I gotta restart that bad boy. But, you know, regular American TV shows, there's like nothing right now. Could be the writer's strike, but I doubt it. Well, aside from One Piece. One Piece came out, and that was pretty great. But beyond that, there is so little to watch. I rewatched all of a TV show called The Mentalist from way back when. And man, the female character in that show is probably one of the most annoying characters that's ever been put to screen. She is awful. And sometimes those awful characters, they can either kind of grow on you or they can just continue to grade even more. And over time, she has continued to grade. She kind of ruins the whole show. Let's see what I watched before that. I watched Tulsa King. That was actually pretty good. I have a hard time believing Sylvester Stallone is a badass, but whatever. Not because Sylvester Stallone is not a badass, but because Sylvester Stallone is like 80. He might not be 80, but I think he's in his 70s. Somewhere between 70 and 80. That's like Joe Biden being a fucking crime lord. Oh, wait. Ooh, freeze is dangerous. Shut up and give me loot. What the hell? Oh. How come my dash isn't? That dash is weird. Oh, I'm out of mana. I was just talking about how that dash was weird, and the dash just, it's not going off. I was just constantly clicking dash, and maybe I was getting stunned. But, okay, well that was quick. That was quick. That was, very, very quick. Can I recreate him? Is there a way to do that? Or do I just have to delete it? I want the same name, though. Ruthless, solo cell found. Oh yeah, I just copied that. Copy it verbatim. SSF R Incestor. Oh yeah. I need underscores. R Incestor. Yeah, this dash is super janky. Or maybe my button was sticking, but it definitely was not triggering. Wonder if it's got extra text I need to read, because we all know I can't read. Come on, stop going in my eyes. Eye holes. These eye holes are being a-holes. I guess I should have kept trying to fight that butcher. If I was gonna die, I mean, dying to a butcher would have been better than dying to a bunch of summoned skeletons from a necromancer. Yeah, they got rid of that chest that has that support gem. That's ruthless. Oh, that quick step is the one. So let's read this thing. Perform a series of quick teleports towards a targeted location, stopping if you would overlap with monsters or terrain. Stopping if you would overlap with monsters or terrain. What? If used in the attack in place option, the direction is reversed. Shares a cooldown with other blink seals. Okay, so it sounds like I can't teleport over enemies. All right, that is a learning experience. Maybe I'll get some tea on the upper lip of my mask, and then it get moldy, and then I can inhale it, and then I can die. Maybe. I was thinking about my name, The Consumer. I don't think people get it. I don't think people understand the play on words. The consumer as a broad term of us humans in this world, and all we do is consume product. and that I consume product while being aware that all I do is consume product. I gotta do Cobra Lash this time. Wait, no, I didn't want to do Cobra Lash because I'm doing spells. I'll do Freezing Pulse. But with these masks on, the mask over the headphones makes it look like I have an alien head, so I might change my whole channel to just alien head. It sounds more edgy. And aliens are in right now. Even the government's talking about aliens. So that way I don't have to try to explain, why is your name the consumer? Just a very valid question. And then I explain it's a play on consumerism. And how I am both a critique of consumerism and a 100% consumer. I consume all the products. And then, you know, I wouldn't want to live in any other world. Imagine living in a world where you don't have product to consume. It's just it's a bit of a conundrum. You could say, like, items, possessions don't make you happy, but would you want to live in a world without possessions? Path of Exile is a possession. The computer or phone you're listening to me on is a possession. So, as bad as consumerism is, which it is bad to just simply buy product, a world without it is even worse. Well, this smells pretty fun. I have never even used this spell before, I don't think. I mean, maybe. I don't remember it. I like it, though. I should do a dedicated build to just this. I think I've seen a lot of builds do this with Spell Totem. But I would do a self-casting variant. I think this would work good with the... Not the one that shoots 3... It angled, one straight, one to the side, one to the side, but three in a line. Horizontal to each other. Or perpendicular? I don't know the word. I think it's perpendicular. Man, I watched a wild police video. I think it was on Donut Operator's channel of a wedding in Rhode Island that got rowdy. And the cops came to like arrest the drunk person or something. And when you first look at the video, it looks pretty bad. Like the cops are just beating the shit out of these wedding goers. But if you pay a little closer attention, one of the wedding guests goes for a full kick in the nuts of a police officer. Now, times have changed since I was a kid, but the idea of kicking a cop in the nuts and not getting instantly shot in the face for it, that would have been the mentality of every single person I grew up with. If in high school I said, hey, what do you think would happen to you if you kicked a cop in the nuts? Everyone I went to high school with would say, he's going to shoot you in the face. That's the expectation that I have for someone who kicks a cop in the nuts. You're going to get shot directly in the face, and you're going to deserve it. But anyways, this chick doesn't get shot in the face, but she does get punched in the shoulder by the cop. And then the cop tries to arrest the boyfriend again and again and again. And then shit gets rowdy, because after he punches her, after she tries to kick him in the nuts, he punches her in the shoulder, and then her boyfriend or husband gets all mad, and then goes and just fucking cold cocks a cop, punching him in the side of the face. Pretty sure he broke his nose, fell to the ground, and then they all started ganging up on the cock. And that same cock-kicking chick decides she's gonna try to stomp on the cop's nutsack while he's on the ground. Just straight up do a nutsack stomp while the cop's on the ground. And while that's happening, one of the other girls tries to pull a gun off of one of the police officers, so he winds up, hits her square in the face, and she gets knocked the fuck out. It takes a nice little head dive to the asphalt. It's pretty nutty video. I recommend you watch it the first time, because the first time it looks like it's just insane police brutality. Like, absolutely insane police brutality. And then you watch it again a little bit closer, you're like, oh shit. What kind of psychopath is going to try to grab for a cop's gun? What kind of psychopath is going to try to kick a cop in the nuts? Maybe times are changing, and since, you know, those people went to jail for killing the crackhead, George Floyd, maybe ever since those cops went to jail for basically the rest of their life for doing their job, ever since that moment, maybe the world thinks that you could totally kick a cop in the nuts, and it's just, you're going to be totally fine. That he's not going to respond. And if you're, you know, nutless, which I'm sure most of my fans, while being male, probably lack, you know, big old fat set of nuts. So if you're nutless and you don't understand what the dangers of getting kicked in the nuts as a cop are, you've never been kicked in the nuts then. You get kicked in the nuts in the right way, it disables the male body. You will just go into fetal position, and as a police officer, you have a gun on your hip. And so if you get kicked in the nuts and you're rendered disabled, it's going to be hard for you to maintain hold of your gun or maintain hold of the situation. So kicking a cop in the nuts is a very serious deal, and getting kicked in the nuts is a very serious deal. It's pretty wild. But I think women maybe don't understand that, so they're just totally fine trying to kick a dude in the nuts. But yeah, that was a fucking wild video. I put it on, but you know, this is Ruthless. And this is serious. I'm playing very serious. I should have grabbed a bunch of loot and then put it in the stash. The tea is still too hot to drink. Don't row on me. I mean, I'm looking at the physics of these things, and I'm pretty sure all you gotta do is put your hand on top of his head and just push down, and then the roa goes straight into the ground, and then you win. Don't fucking stun lock me, boys. I already had a lesson of that. Fucking roa party. I was thinking a lot about the interesting dynamic of storytelling outside of the dynamics of Earth. The wife and I were watching Hunter x Hunter, just kind of chilling out, and she was like, "Oh man, that would never happen on Earth. Like, you can't do that." It was during the Greed Island arc, and they had the little card things, like, "Oh, the island's real. You can't do these. You can't have spells." And I was like, "Dude, they ain't on Earth. You don't know what the fuck they can have, what they can't have." And it's just a very interesting. It's so difficult for us humans to remove the boundaries or the bounds of Earth for entertainment media. Some shows like Harry Potter take place on Earth. Some stories, I should say. I'm like not going to be able to kill this guy in the amount of health potions that I have. Oh, and I'm out of mana. Yeah. Let me forfeit. I forfeit. Let me forfeit this fight. Where do I need to go? Oh, there's a little ledge there. I'll hang out, charge my mana. Oh, damn. Fucking beastly charge at me. Thanks for the gnarled branch. Yeah, it's just interesting to try to think about the fact that these worlds Specifically, One Piece is what I'm referencing. They're not Earth. The rules of Earth don't apply. Because in Hunter x Hunter, Gon is like 12 throughout most of the show. And he's fighting full-grown adults, and 12-year-olds, no matter the training, cannot beat full-grown adults in any type of combat. But in the world they live in, their combat strength is based on ki or ko or whatever they call it. And if... Why can't I sell that to you? Oh, I gotta go to sell. And if all of your combat power is determined... I have to do this every time. It's determined specifically by the amount of force your body has. Then your combat power could be set at basically birth. Because people are born with just different power. Wait. Hold up. Oh yeah, solo self-found. Do you keep your stash? You get a new stash every time, or is that a hardcore specific thing? I remember doing hardcore in the past. I don't do a lot of hardcore. And whenever you had a hardcore character and it died, all your currency was saved. I guess Ruthless is different? Each time you have to start from scratch? Oh my god. If that is true, that is absolutely brutal. That is ruthless that they would do that.
Still alive, are we?
That is insanely ruthless.
Stay sharp.
Well, let's go get my movement speed potion then. I get that they don't want to steal all the terminology from Diablo, but potion makes way more sense than flask. Because what's inside of the flask is a potion. So you're drinking a potion. Or a tonic. You're not eating a flask. So when I say potion, know that I'm correct. And you are wrong when you say flask. Guys, remember when I was at level 12? Remember that? Yeah, so do I. And now I'm not at level 12, and it's a bit of a bummer. I think Ethereal Knives was a little bit better if it wasn't for the freeze and the slow. The freeze and the slow is pretty nice. Though it is hard to aim at a little bit. For me, I'm really not good with my mouse. My mouse positioning. His targeting is so fucking weird. It's kind of cool. It's just more random because it feels like it's targeting you or following you. I've never noticed that because usually I don't have to avoid him. I just kill him and let all of his hits hit me. There we go. Let's put a fucking shield on. Yeah, One Piece is, I think it's going to change the game. Hollywood and all the movie studios have been trying to figure out how to capitalize on anime. And I think the live action One Piece did it. I think that's like their first success story. And I think we're seeing the beginning of a huge wave of anime movies and TV shows. And when I say huge wave, think Avengers level threat. When Iron Man, one could maybe trace it to Spider-Man 1, but I'm talking like that whole big Marvel sequence. Iron Man. Actually, no, I'm going to call it. The One Piece live anime is equivalent to Spider-Man. The first Spider-Man releasing, I think that was in the 90s or 2000s with Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire. This One Piece live action is that equivalent. So we're going to see a few more. Then we're going to probably see a live action anime movie. And they're going to kick off pretty weak like the other ones did. So you had the X-Men movies, which were pretty good. Then Spider-Man 2. And after Spider-Man 3, it kind of died down a bit. We had a couple flops. Like one of that Superman movie with that pretty boy who's not Henry Cavill. Then you had the Hulk movie, which was pretty bad. The Edward Norton one was pretty good, but it wasn't very popular because it was so damn long, and Edward Norton had to put his hipster ass all over the story. And then there's going to be an anime movie of some sort. I don't know what it'll be, and it'll be huge, like Iron Man. And then we're going to have this whole renaissance of anime movies and TV shows and properties over the next 10 to 20 years. And it's going to be just like the Avengers. Just like Iron Man 1 and the Avengers. And you trace it all the way to One Piece succeeding. Because they had the blueprint now. They didn't have the blueprint before One Piece. With Cowboy Bebop, they were like, oh, let's try to make this more realistic and more like it's on Earth. And it flopped because people are like, dude, we want Cowboy Bebop. It's that simple. You're remaking a show of a show we like. Make the show we like. So for One Piece, they're like, alright. It's stupid that this dude has an axe for a hand and uses it as a weapon, but we're gonna do it anyways. So they just gave their fans One Piece. And like, okay, well, what's the core tenet of the story? It's this, this, and this. Alright, we're gonna do that. And like, oh, well, it doesn't make sense that they're talking out of a snail. It doesn't make sense that we're somehow in, like, 15th century technology with boats, and yet we have TV, radio, and cell phones or whatever. And they just fucking did it. Like, it doesn't matter if it makes sense. It's not Earth. It's not reality. It's fucking anime. And they made it anime as fuck. And it worked. And it's gonna start off this whole fucking thing. I already see it. I see it all like an oracle. In the past, read in the future, which is currently the present. That's what's happening right now. I mean, just think about all the anime they can do. Oh shit! Oh shit! I think I even know the movie. The movie that's gonna become the blockbuster movie. They're gonna make a live-action, high-budget, Neon Genesis Evangelion movie, and that's gonna be what blows it off. It's gonna blow the whole thing up, and they're gonna be dirty with it too. They're gonna keep all that fucking sexuality that little hippie boy has. They're gonna keep it all. They're gonna do it right, and it's gonna blow the fuck up into the stratosphere. Or if they could do Akira, that would be another one that they could do pretty well. Because they've been dipping their toes in it. They've been dipping their toes in anime, and nothing is fully caught on. They did Alita Battle Angel, which I don't think was a commercial success. It was a damn good attempt. It was damn good. But it wasn't a cash cow. And then they had Ghost in the Shell. And that came out when wokeness was a little more ravenous than it is now. In my opinion, the wokeness is dying down a lot. It's kind of overstayed its welcome, and people are kind of over it. But I haven't seen the live action Ghost in the Shell. I don't know if it's good or not. I can't comment on it. I don't know if it did commercially well either. I don't think it did. But the success of this One Piece, it's going to be like the first successful anime adopted property. And it's going to be the tidal wave. And if I'm wrong, it won't matter because I'll probably be dead by then. It's going to take 20 years to prove if I'm wrong. But I guess if there's not a major anime movie in the next 6 years, then it'll be wrong. So it's going to take about 6 years to prove whether I'm right or wrong. Because One Piece is the catalyst for the anime surgeons. And that means that right now is when the studios are looking at anime properties. They're not currently making the movies. And movies take a long time to make. So they're going to be behind the curve. And it's just going to take a very long time. So right now there's Hollywood producers sitting in dark, dank rooms. Actually, they're not dark and dank because they're Hollywood producers. They're fucking top of some skyscraper in a private smoky lounge, and they're talking about which anime properties they can make a fuck ton of money off of. That's probably not how it works either, but that's how I'm picturing it. God damn it. Need to get a wand so my basic attack will still work. This is ruthless, man. Totally ruthless, man. I'm gonna herd them together. Get more bang for my buck on this attack. It's really unfortunate with X-Men. I think the first X-Men 1 and X-Men 2, the first two, are probably my favorite of the Marvel series. I know they weren't done by Marvel, they're done by Fox, I think. Done by a different company because they didn't own the rights. Either way, out of all the superhero stuff, I think I like the two first X-Men's the most. Ignoring Iron Man 1, because Iron Man 1's a perfect movie. And you can't really count Iron Man 1, because, you know, it's just a masterpiece. And then you got First Class, which was fine. And the one after First Class was alright. Then Days of Future Past was kind of bad. And then they allowed the X-Woman comment to make it to the screen. And I'm not offended because they said X-Men more like X-Woman, and it's like a gender play. I'm offended because they think that X-Men means male. It's not X-male. X-Men is short for human. It's X, which stands for the morph or mutated gene, and human, and it's just short for human. So X-Men is X-human. It's not X-male. And people just are fucking stupid. They think because it says man on it that it's short for male, and that's not always the case. Like when they say for all mankind, they're not saying for all male kind. Man is short for human, all humankind. They just shorten it to say all mankind. When they say all mankind, that includes women. That includes people that don't even have a gender. People that have taken their penis, cut it off, and then plug the hole so it's just flat like Ken. The Ken dolls out there. But that just shows that whoever wrote that was okay with that line making it to the big screen, which means that they are idiots at the helm. And once you see idiots at the helm, then it's red flags. Like, for instance, right now, Stranger Things. First part of season 5 was pretty great, and they took this break. And then they stretched out the length. And then the rest of the episodes were all just bloated, padded nonsense. It was like an hour and a half of good TV and 4 hours of bloat. So that right there is a very negative sign for the future of Stranger Things. Don't get me wrong, I still like Stranger Things. I like what happened in season 5, but it's just a massive red flag that they're gonna bloat up the game the TV show in the next season. Now they're cashing in. And I still have, Game of Thrones trauma for when season 8 happened in Game of Thrones, and they just ruined the whole fucking TV show. They took the best TV show that's ever been made, and then they just fucking flushed it down the toilet. But that one can be blamed on the fact that they ran out of source material. Tweedledee and Tweedledum, who made Game of Thrones, that was probably one of the best adapted from a book source material that's ever been made. And then once they ran out of book source material, they had to actually write, and they're not good at writing. They're like, we can't do this. All we do is read Game of Thrones and then turn it to a TV show. God, this is brutal. This is ruthless. One freaking mana flask, doing no damage with these spells. I wonder if I can use a town portal to get my mana back. Town portal, mana back. Let me see if I can buy or sell something, because this is obnoxious. Can I purchase a fucking small mana flask? Yes, I can. There we go. Now I got 2 Minar flask. Let's get directly to some of that life. Want some regen early on. But the only real spot to get regen is like right up here. That might be worth it just to get this 1%. That way when I'm walking from point A to point B, I'm at least getting healed. Or I'll just find regen on one item. I just need one item with regen. There we go. Seeing some of the hardware specs of the Switch too, or what the estimated ones are, and the fact that they're partnering with NVIDIA. NVIDIA is a much better partner than AMD. It's going to be a little more pricey, so the Switch is probably going to have to shoot up its price point, but I don't think that matters anymore. I mean, the low price is alright. It gets a pretty good broad audience for like parents under a tight budget for their kids. So the like 5 to 12-year-olds. But anything older than that, the price of the consoles really don't matter too much anymore. I mean, people are spending $1,200 on an iPhone or whatever a new iPhone costs. So after the success of the Switch 2 can almost write its own price point. It can come out at $4.99, and people will be fine with that. Maybe $5.99 people won't be fine with it, but I think $4.99 people will just eat it up. Nintendo has never really used the aces in their card. I mean, it's because they don't have to, because they make money hand over fist just doing what they're currently doing. But they have such a large back catalog, and they try to turn that back catalog into subscriptions to their Nintendo service, which isn't a bad idea. But if Nintendo really wanted to win everything in life, they would just put all of their retro games in a retro bundle, it's a giant bundle that can emulate and run all their retro games, and every Nintendo console comes with all of their old retro games. Once a Nintendo game is older than 20 years old, it hits the retro thing, and every Nintendo console from here out is released with every 20-plus year old Nintendo game. Now, obviously, there's licensing issues for studios that make games third-party for Nintendo, so you can leave all the third-party ones off to avoid those licensing issues. But every first-party Nintendo game, if they was just on the console at launch, imagine buying the original Switch, and you got every Nintendo game on that console. Day one, you can just play a bunch of retro shit. You don't even need to buy new games. Because when these new consoles come out, they usually only have like 1 or 2 bangers at max for that first year. And then it slowly starts to trickle in. So when you got that lull, that dead period, if Nintendo just bundled all of their old shit into a single package, then they just reprogram that package for each new console. Or just make it a generically PC program so then they can modify the code easier. It's a boon. Nintendo, every console would sell out. Doesn't even matter how bad the console is. Because worst case scenario, you buy the console and now you have another retro machine. Yeah, that's the ace in Nintendo's hands. And Sony might be able to do the same thing, but not as likely. They had way more third-party shit. And again, the third-party might not be an issue, but I would imagine if if Sony decided to do what I was just talking about for all of their shit, and they were like, oh, we're going to make Final Fantasy VII a part of every console that we had, I'm sure Square Enix is going to be like, nah, we're going to want money for that. But I am not positive. I don't know the copyright laws behind when someone like Square Enix releases a game for someone like Sony on their console. If Sony has the right to relaunch it at free. Because that's where the problem lies. If it's free on the console, there's no profits for Square Enix to have. Unless they took a slice of the hardware cost. And then if they did that for Square Enix, they'd have to do that for every single retro game that they had, and that's just way too much splitting of the hardware cost, so that couldn't happen. But Nintendo's almost always relied on strong first party, and since they rely on strong first party, they have that first party leverage that the other consoles don't. Microsoft kind of did with Halo, but they've let Halo shit the bed. And Microsoft would have needed a lot more than just Halo. I hear people talk about Fable a lot, so maybe that would have been like another Microsoft one. But from what I've seen, Fable is just trash. The original Fable was trash. I think it was just console people getting a taste of what PC games have already had for a long time. And Fable took off in the console world. But in terms of what other games provide that's similar to Fable, Fable's not that good. Having never played it, I can't confirm that 100%, but I've seen quite a bit of it. It's always kind of funny when people dick ride Nintendo hard. And they're talking, they try to cope for the bad hardware performance, because the Switch is hardware. Oh, god damn it. Alright, well, I'm gonna have to take... No, I'm not gonna take this call. I'm gonna let it go to voicemail. Ding, ding. And that is just gonna keep fucking ringing, isn't it? Jesus, that rang forever. And every time it rang, it said, responsibilities, responsibilities, responsibilities. I said, no. I don't wanna. It's someone trying to give me a job. I don't want a job. The contract for my last job just ended. I want a break. I've earned... Okay, well, I haven't earned a break because I dicked around on my whole last contract. But I want a break. I want to be able to just relax, vibe out, and play video games. That's what I want. That's what I'm going to get. I've worked for like 20 years in a row. It's break time. Get this chest. I got a bunch of shit. A vine shield. Do I want the armor? I want the vine shield. I want the... Why does it let me want it? Oh, I can only use that with wands, can't I? Got a 3-link, which is kind of pointless. I want evasion over armor, though. Got a blue helmet. 7 lightning res. I mean, it's better than not having lightning res. Oh, that's why this shield didn't work. It's not a shield. It's not a shield, guys. Who would have thought that I'm a fucking idiot? I think I would have thought that. Working on another build, a Scion build. I'm gonna try to use that new Warcry support that does physical damage over time with the General's Cry. And then for the General's Cry, I'm gonna attach it to Tornado Shot with Corrupting Fever. So the General's Cry should spawn a bunch of my clones that are going to shoot out Tornado Shots, which are going to apply Corrupting Fever. So I'm going to go ultra tanky. I'm going to do the bow that doubles my quiver properties, and then we use Rear Guard, which is going to give me pretty much max block for spells and attacks. Then I'm going to path up. I'm going to get me some spell suppression, get maxed up on that. Then use Grace and Determination to get all maxed up on my defenses. And I'm just going to run around screaming at people, doing physical damage over time. Scion's taking the node that does 20% more damage over time from the Gladiator and gives me more block, and then taking the Saboteur for cooldown reduction. and area damage and all that jazz. But I'm not sure the area damage is going to be applying to that Warcry Scream. I'll have to see if it has the AoE tag, and if it does have the AoE tag, we don't know for sure if it's going to work until someone tests it. But it'll be pretty interesting, because the build will be pretty terrible for bossing, but it should be pretty damn good for mapping, because you're just going to run around screaming at everything, and whatever your war cries don't hit, your tornado shot, corrupting fevers will hit. You just kind of be a menace to everyone. Which should be the goal of every build, is to be menaceful. Watched Mathel's video on his Verstrum, or whatever that sword is called. I've tried to do builds with that sword many a time, but I never fully capitalized on the cluster jewels that give you the double stats like he did. I always tried to go for masteries because I find that to be more interesting, to be able to grab masteries from multiple mastery sets. But the problem is that the sword masteries are all kind of shit. And the only real good masteries come from the dagger, the axe, and the claws. And getting dagger, axe, and claws is kind of difficult. But the swords and the maces, their masteries are just so bad. And it makes it pretty shitty to use it with a lot of different masteries. But it would be way more interesting of a build if you just had a bunch of really good masteries that were able to steal from different weapon types. But as thinking about spells, it's hard to think about an ice spell, like a cold spell, hurting. I'm sure it would. Like if the temperature of this like ice wave was, you know, negative 2,000 degrees or absolute zero and it goes over you, it's probably gonna hurt. But it's just a little difficult in comparison to like fireball. It's like, what is your attack? Oh, I make things cold. It doesn't seem like it's gonna do anything. But technically, I think like if something happened to the Earth and like the ozone opened up and you had a cold snap, like a full extreme cold snap, and it just broke through the atmosphere, I'm pretty sure the amount of cold that would hit you from outer space would just like flash freeze you and just instantly kill you, just like it does in the game, and then you shatter. But it's just kind of difficult to think about. But a big fireball hitting you and hurting and burning, that makes perfect sense. Are they different? I don't remember seeing Contagion. I think these are the exact same. I'll throw a Contagion on there. Contagion's got a big ol' AoE. Dun dun. Let's get to some spell damage. I think I'm just going to come all the way over to here to get to this spell damage. It's nice to get all these attributes too. And then this will be good. Then mana and life. Then spell damage. And then I can grab mind over matter. And just path all the way over to here and grab this shit. Or I do what I tried to do last time and get the avoidance shit first. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Let's come here, and so I don't get bled as much. I don't like to bleed. It's rumored that not bleeding to death is a good strategy for this game. I am a little disappointed that I didn't get to save any loot. The whole time I was going into this, I thought that a lot of the loot that I had was going to transfer over, but now that I know it doesn't, I'm I am nervous to play this game mode, to say the least, because I'm not accumulating anything. All the other hardcore modes, it's almost like a roguelike. You play through it, you die, you get a bunch of loot to help you out through your next playthrough. But if this drops your entire stash tab each death, whoo, doggy, that is a thing. That is a thing. Thought Contagion had a bigger circle than that. I guess all the times I've seen people play it, they give it massive AoE. Yeah, it's not worth it. I have to read Contagion again real quick. I never played Contagion. But unless that's increasing my freezing pulse damage, it's not any good. Contagion. Where did I put you? Did someone spawn? Yeah, you are. Contagion. Where did I? I'm just trying to read my Contagion, buddies. Now you gotta be jerks like this. Let me just read my Contagion. There we go. Walk back over here. Contagion. Unleashes a vile contagion on enemies, dealing chaos damage over time. If an enemy dies while affected by a contagion, it spreads to other enemies. Okay, we can do some spreading. Could be pretty good for massive AoE clear. I think I'll use it if there's a bunch of enemies in a specific spot. Where I won't use it at all. A lot of times I just forget about my secondary skills that I'm trying to incorporate. Let's try this dash. Yeah, it doesn't look like you can't dash through enemies. That is weird. That's a decision. Might have to cut the ridges off of these masks around the eyes, because they start to pull up into my eyes a little bit. I should go grab those mana nodes. What do these ones do? 10 mana per enemy killed, or even come and get this one for 20% regeneration rate. That's what I should be doing. Chain belt. The ledge. Oh shit, someone got murdered. The riffraff keep getting closer. We moved from downtown Seattle because of riffraff. The rabble, the poors were getting too close to our front door. So we had to bail out. We bailed out a little north of Seattle. And then the poors and the homeless, they kept going north. And so we didn't go north enough, so we went way north. We went like 30 miles north. And they keep on creeping closer. We saw a homeless camp about 6 miles from our house. We just keep on keeping on. That's why when you look at the properties on the east side, the Bellevue areas, Bellevue, Kirkland, Sammamish, Snoqualmie, aside from their demographics fitting and making it more expensive, they don't fuck around with homeless. They will tear those homeless camps down and tell them to get the fuck out. And so that keeps property values really high. So buying a house in those neighborhoods, because they actually control the homeless population, very expensive. Probably averaging like 1.5 million for the average house price in those areas. Which is a lot of money to me. Maybe a $1.5 million house ain't a lot of money to some people on here. But to me, that's silly. At least when you're playing Ruthless mode, you don't gotta worry about socket pressure or trying to find a quick 4-link. You don't gotta worry about none of that. Because your ass is using a 1-link. Forever. I wonder if the library is gonna open up to where you can buy support items. I highly doubt it. And when I say I wonder, don't tell me. I'm experiencing this shit blind. Almost for real blind. With this mask creeping up into my eye zone. Well, this has good AoE, the damage on it's pretty trash. I mean, I guess I don't have anything to pump up the damage. There's 0 damage modifiers on it at the moment. Back to town and sell that shit.
I need to be doing that.
What you got for me? All this shit costs more than what I got. Nothing gonna cost me a fly? Well, I guess these will cost me that. Resistance flask, that's pretty hot. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go straight avoid. I know they don't get corrupted blood for a long time, but I don't want to find out when they get corrupted blood, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's a rough experience being like, oh, they can use corrupted blood now. And then I'm dead. I think think I need to go the other way. Whew. My deeps is extreme. These guys just don't stand a chance with my deeps. This is expensive, but isn't it? 6 mana? Oh, they both cost the same. Yeah, it's probably better to do one cast of Contagion. So that way it just spreads. Get the group together. Now I'm starting to think I'm going the wrong way. I don't know why I'm not clicking all these chests. They're all just gold mines. Curse from the old game. Never click chests on the old game mode. It's a waste of time. But in this mode, chests are like magic. Never know what you're gonna get in there. Distance between me and these little goat fuckers. Fuck you, pigeons. Moment of truth. Did I go the right way? Did I go the wrong way? Man, I heard a new Doja Cat song on the radio. Driving to get me some taco time. And decided to come back and watch the music video. That bitch is on some American Horror shit. I like the song, and I really like the video. Forgot the name of the song. You'll see it if you go to her channel and just say 3 months. Or 6 months. Oh, yeah, that was the wrong way. You... Go to my hideout. Why can't I go to my... I guess I can't go to my hideout. That's rude. Alright, well, if we're gonna rewalk through it, might as well make it new. Alright, I gotta get the name of that song. Paint the town red. It's all like fucking demonic and shit. She also has demons, which is demonic as shit as well. I fuck with both of them. But Demons isn't that good of a song. Paint the Town Red, it's a good song, and it's a unique video. And I've just always been a fan of Doja Cat simply because she started basically exactly where I started right now. Just being a fucking idiot on the internet. She made Bitch I'm a Cow in her fucking room and just put it on the internet, and now she's famous. She went from a parody Bitch I'm a Cow song to being one of the most popular artists on the planet. And I kind of like that hustle. Where someone like Taylor Swift went from her dad paying a record studio $300,000 to promote her shit and becoming famous that way. Or Billie Eilish being the daughter of 2 record studio executives, or people high up in the record producing world, being cartelled and conditioned to become super famous and popular. That's not to say that Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish aren't talented, but they did have massive, massive benefits that Doja Cat didn't need, because she just mooed on the internet, and now she's famous. And she's not even famous for being an idiot. She's actually kind of famous for her music and her unique style. You have Cash Me Outside Girl, who's mostly just famous for being an idiot. But she's a multi-millionaire, and her records have done well, given that she's an idiot. But that's it's a little bit moving if you're an American and you appreciate that kind of thing. Doja Cat just literally made the American dream happen for us all to see. She just all on her own, made her own fucking shit, put it on the internet, and then people liked it, it blew up, now she's famous. That's all it takes. And when I say that's all it takes, I mean that's a lot. For every one Doja Cat, there's at least, 2 or 3 million people that did the exact same thing as Doja Cat but didn't take off. But if you can, just have your dad, if you're trying to become a famous musician, just have your dad donate, $1 million to a record studio. That's the much easier route. That's the correct route. And you shouldn't hate people who use the correct route. If you got it, use it. If you got rich parents, use them. It would have been nice to have rich parents. Mostly because I probably wouldn't have been raised in a tiny town and went to a shit school. Would have learned about things like finances. You can't learn finances from your parents if your parents don't know anything about finances. None of my parents have ever invested in stocks or anything. I would say they put their money under the mattress, but they didn't have money or a mattress, so they didn't put that under either. But rich people, they teach their kids all about finance, or the kids naturally just kind of pick it up from their parents. It's another good thing about the internet. It just opens up the world to all information to everyone. All the information is on the internet. all the bad and correct information on the internet. And all you gotta do is go and get it. You wanna be a video editor? All that's for free on the internet. You just gotta fucking apply yourself. You wanna learn how to code? All that's on the internet. You can teach yourself how to code. Want to be a surgeon? You can teach yourself how to be a surgeon. Still got to go to med school and all that other shit, but you can do most of the work all on your own. A few things you can't do. You want to be in the NBA? You can't really do anything on the internet there. You got to make sure you're above a certain footage, and then start practicing when you're 4 years old. Unless, of course, you're above 7 foot. Then you can start practicing as soon as they hire you onto the team. But I've associated with a lot of rich people since I've been up here in the Seattle area. And, yeah, they think and live differently. They have no clue what it's like to be poor. They can't understand things from what a poor perspective is, a poor person's perspective. They're completely clueless. One of them didn't realize that Walmart sold clothes. They've never been into a Walmart. She was, I think, like 25 at the time. It was like 8 years ago. And I was talking about, I think I was talking about Fila's, and how Fila's started out as a big deal, and then they ended up a Walmart brand. And she was like, Walmart sells shoes? And I was like, yeah, Walmart has a clothes and shoes section. And she's like, Walmart sells clothes? Who would wear Walmart clothes? And I was like, are you pulling my leg? Are you kidding me? She's like, no, I've never been in a Walmart. I mean, she lives in downtown Seattle, and there are no Walmarts in downtown Seattle. And her parents were there, so she's lived in Seattle her whole life, in the Queen Anne area. She's never stepped foot into a Walmart. She has no clue what's in a Walmart. And then I asked her, I was like, well, where do you buy your clothes? And she's like, well, you know, I go to, like, the cheaper places like Nordstrom's. I'm like, the cheaper places like Nordstrom's? And she's like, yeah, I don't do, like, Bloomingdale's, because they don't really have one here. I have to go to Bellevue for that, or some shit. And I was like, okay. We live in a completely different world. And that's not to say she's a bad person. Poor people have it better. It's just different. Rich people have their own struggles and hustles they gotta go through, and they're just different than poor people's. Shit. Shit. Fuck you, goats. Oh, that was a wave of danger there. I don't want anything to do with that. Want nothing to do with it. Okay, I don't like this spell. I like the physical spell better. Ethereal Blades. I'm gonna go back and let these guys know I'm the boss still. I just want to get that portal first. I'm gonna show him Charles who's in charge. There's no way any of you guys are old enough to know what the fuck I'm talking about. And now you're all gonna be Googling Charles in charge. Then you're gonna be saying, damn dude, You old motherfucker. I'll be like, yeah. I'm geriatric. Damn, that's a good gamer name. Instead of the consumer, I could just be geriatric alien head. Or just geriatric. Geriatric is just a great name. Of course, it's also confusing. Anyone who tries to Google my name, they're just gonna get geriatric people. Obviously, I'm not good at making names. What, goat man? You think you can fight this? You think you can fight this? Guess what's right where you landed? A contagion. No one's afraid of you. You're not good at your job. You're not a good goat guard. What even is your job? Why do you exist? Why are you here, goat guard? Yeah, I leveled up on your dumbass. Not even a rare. Fought that guy with the sole hunt of getting a rare item. I think I've already covered that it's not alright to be all white, and right now I am all white. No, I got 1 blue, 2 blue. I'm all white except for 2 blue. And you know what they say about white? It ain't right. Blue, you got the goo. Yellow is when it gets mellow. So we need to get some yellow gear, guys. We need someone to manifest it for me. There you go. I'll get this chance to avoid poison later. And I'm gonna hit the corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on me first. I know that they don't have corrupted blood for quite a while, but might as well fucking get that out of the way. Come on, you can get it in that doorway. You're big, but you're not that big. You can fit through the doorway. I have trauma from this necromancer. Leave me alone. You're traumatizing me. I still hear my last character just standing there before it died, trying to dash through enemies when your dash cannot dash through enemies. It was a sad time. I might make that my thumbnail. Just the text of the dash. Won't let anyone know that I died. Because obviously I'm going to do it deathless. So I can't die. So I didn't die. Because I'm doing this all deathless. Means I can't die and I didn't die. But after my death, you know, people might not want to watch because they're like, oh, he died, he's a fucking loser and a dork and we all hate him. But because I didn't die, because I'm doing this deathless, I'm gonna retain 100% of people who watched to this point. 100%. Because I did it deathless. I'm just gonna keep talking. It was over with a long time ago. I know. I'm just gonna keep going. I gotta redo all of these fucking trials. Chunk, 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 chunk. I'm gonna dash through it like a fucking champion. Nope. Oh, almost championed it. But I failed. Across the board. Did I not? Oh, I actually have to go through the thing. I actually have to play the game. Yeah, that contagion, ain't it? Oh, fuck. Thank you, traps. Advanced tech. Let the traps do the killing for you. I don't like being in corners. You guys had to have thought I was gonna die, because I thought I was gonna die. And now there's poopy in my panties. And the panties I'm talking about are these panties. Because it's really a thong. Like a really hefty chick's thong. I guess she doesn't have to be hefty. She could be a regular sized chick who's just wearing oversized thongs, which is pretty sexy. Like you get the biggest and fattest granny panties you can find and put the super hot chick in them. You're like bagging off. Yeah, that's where it's at. It's like fucking, because we're on the ancestry league, it's like fucking your sister and your grandma at the same time. Apparently one of those That 70 stars is like a rapist or something. My wife was talking about it. And everyone got mad at Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis for writing a character reference for the rapist, or alleged rapist. And everyone's mad at him for it. But what the fuck? That's what friends are for, man. You ride or die with your friends. Like, if I found out my wife murdered someone, I'm not going to be all mad about it and try to put her in jail. Hell no, I'm covering up with her. She ride or die. We ride or die. I don't give a fuck about random people. If one of my boys is in trouble, he's getting assistance. I ain't afraid of no dumb... But then again, that's why I wear a mask on my head. Because I can do shit like that and not worry about getting all my job prospects removed. I mean, they're already millionaires, so it's not like they're ever going to be hurting for money. And Mila Kunis is hot, so she can always just do OnlyFans. If she ever does get, you know, down in the dumps needing for cash, people are going to pay good money for that shit. So I guess maybe not. Celebrities doing OnlyFans probably doesn't always translate into a big fat cash bag. But if they did weird shit, then of course it would result in a cash bag. Like if Mila Kunis opened up her OnlyFans and it was like, I don't know, like cake sitting fetish. And she just put on like baby diapers and sat in cake. And that's all she does on her OnlyFans. Oh, she gonna blow the fuck up. Everyone's gonna be subscribing to that cake shit. And I got way better gear last time. And ethereal knives was a better skill. I mean, I should take my stock advice and move it to this game. Never die. So instead of dying like I did, just don't do that. Like when you invest in the stock market, just don't lose money. So easy. I've kind of gotten used to using my dash as a curse applicator. And so I keep trying to dash into enemies to apply curses. But I don't have any curses. I don't have any skills. Both in real life applied to this game and actual skills in the game. It's layered. It's deep like that. But after the physical scion that I'm building, if it don't turn out, which I doubt it's gonna turn out. For every like 2 or 3 builds you see, there's one that was so bad that I didn't even make a video on it. I just had one where I tried to use that infernal helmet that increases enemy minions' life by overcapped fire resistance. And it just says increases enemies' life by overcapped fire resistances. So I assumed it was going to be a life percentage. But I was thinking about the math, and I was like, well, that would be like 500% increased life of your minions. And that seems like it's too much. So I went ahead and built around it and tested it out. And just stacked a bunch of minion life and then used infernal whatever. So the minions catch on fire and then explode. And it was like no damage. It was nothing. So obviously it's a flat life add. So your minion will have like 80,000 life, and that will just add flat 500 life, and it's just disappointing across the board. And that was sad. That was super sad. I mean, it's got dexterity. Let's throw it on there. Forgot what my dumbass was rambling about. I got a video editing software. I forgot what it's called. Hold on. DaVinci Resolve. It's free. And that's why I got it. So I recorded a little intro. And I'm gonna put that before this video. I don't tend to do much more than slicing 2 videos together. I don't want to do video editing. I have no interest in that noise. So I'm just not gonna do video editing. It's gonna be a reduction in quality for you guys, but guess what? You watch a trash bag, you get a trash bag. If you want professional shit, there are a lot of other YouTubers you can go to for that noise. I give you the raw, the amateur. And amateur adult videos are much better than the professional ones, am I right? It ain't good unless you can fool yourself into thinking it's real. And you can't fool yourself into thinking it's real unless the bitches are ugly. Ugly bitch porn is where it's at. You don't want no cutie, because then you know she getting paid for this. It ain't real. She not having an actual good time. But you get yourself some kind of uggo, and you know she's doing it for the enjoyment. Because who the fuck's paying uggos to be adult film stars? Ain't nobody paying the uggos. Unless the uggos are doing wild shit. Warden's Quarters. Alright. I have made a full progression to where I made it last time. And I'm not going to fight this warden without at least 1 yellow. So I have to farm a yellow. What care? I'm level 12 again, just like I was last time. Level 12 might be about the cap with this level of enemies. Because they are no longer giving me very much experience. Don't worry, I'll hang out. I would go and make these episodes just immensely long. But YouTube has a difficult time processing my videos when they get super long. Right now we are at an hour and 40 minutes for this individual video. I think I'll make it to 2 hours, and then I don't want to go any farther because it'll take like a day to upload, a month to fucking process, and then to get that HD ready for you guys, because you can't see me in low def. I am definitely a high def character. This alien head, you don't want to see it in low def, do you? These glazed over green eyes. I mean, you need HD to see that shit. I don't hide my face because I want anonymity. I hide my face for your guys' benefit. You don't want to see this level of beauty, of raw attractiveness. Then you're never going to be able to get me out of your mind. And you become my property, and then I pimp you out. And then we have this whole relationship where you give me all your money, and then that's it. I send you out, you make money, and by you making money, I'm making money, and if I'm happy, then you're happy. Then we have this whole weird dynamic. And then 10 years will go by, and then you'll try to Me Too me, and I'll lock you up in court for a very long time, and then I'll just die. I'll be so old that I'll just die. So you never get justice, you never get any type of satisfaction, and your whole life is nothing but misery. And we don't want that. So I'm wearing this mask for all of your guys' benefit. Because that just sounds like a terrible time, right? None of you guys like that. Let's put the wand on. We don't need no fucking Viper Strike. Got one of these. I don't want one of those. Let's fucking sell it. I want one of the other ones. I want one of these. Everything is all white. Everything is all white. Everything is all white, and that's not right, and that's not good to me. Come on. I need a ring. I need an amulet. Oh yeah, prison reward. Maximum life and lightning res. Ooh, regenerate life. I have no regenerate. Pure evasion base. I think I want that energy shield. No, I think I'm gonna go with the... I gotta go with the life regeneration. I like to have just a little bit so I can save my potions. You got anything else that's good? What's good? No, you ain't got shit. You're a dirty bitch. Little slut. Let's get some blue shit. Let's get some blue. And I rewatched Interstellar a little while ago. That movie holds the fuck up. I always thought that it was a little more forced. The, like, God angle was a little more forced. But no, they set it up from the very beginning. It's just nicely done all the way through. It's probably one of my favorite 30 minutes of a TV show. Instead of, you know, just fucking telling you everything that's wrong with the Earth, they show you what's wrong with the Earth through examples of, like, the okra. You know, like, oh, this is the last okra crop that's ever going to be allowed to be planted. And then they go into them saying that the moon landing never happened, and it was just a clever ruse to get Russia to spend a bunch of money. And that was part of a propaganda campaign to prevent people from going into outer space because they wanted to focus on the Earth that's on Earth and not the Earth that might be in outer space. So they're focusing on trying to save Earth versus moving away from Earth. And those propaganda campaigns are completely real. And those propaganda campaigns would in fact do it in that manner. Teach false history if the government thought that's what was good for the planet. I mean, they're already kind of teaching false history if people think Christopher Columbus was a bad guy. That's a version of false history. Jesus. Huckleberry. I don't want to fight you, Mr. Ice Guy. I don't like those ice guys. Getting frozen just doesn't seem fun. But we might live through something like that. The only thing I can really think is, I guess he's a unique, he's kind of always there, is going to be water shortages. Shit might get crazy when we have water shortages. There's going to be water shortages in the future, and then there's probably going to be electric shortages. People keep pushing these electric cars. If they actually catch on, and there's a switch where buying a gas-powered car is no longer possible and electric cars are the only thing on the market, and then every car becomes an electric car, none of the power grids are currently set up for that. So there's going to be some type of radical thing that has to happen in order for these electric cars to take over. No clue what that would be, but it could be power rationing, power distribution based on necessity instead of it being equal. Essentially net neutrality of the electricity. I'm sure you all have forgotten the whole net neutrality thing. Yeah, net neutrality is kind of funny. Everyone was for net neutrality, and it didn't matter. It all passed because the same thing that always happened. Whoever controls the money controls the policy, and the people that wanted to get rid of net neutrality were the people who controlled the money. Big ISPs, companies like Google. And it happened, and then overnight everything changed, but no one noticed because nothing changed. And then nobody cared. They went on to the next, whatever they're mad about now. I think right to repair is one of the big ones that's going on right now. And they're not going to win that. You're going to lose right to repair because putting bad repair policies in helps large corporations. So that is where policy will go. Towards the large corporations. Now Not that I'm necessarily against large corporations. It's just that to deny a fact, like large corporations get basically everything they want because they can buy senators and congressmen, that's just not living in reality. You could be a pro-capitalist all you want, but you have to live in reality. In America, the term monopoly was reserved for companies that had more than 51% of a given market. Google has had more than 51% of the search market and the ad market for decades now, and I think they're finally getting a hearing in court on whether they're a monopoly or not. And by every definition, Google is a monopoly and should be broken up by the government as part of the invisible hand on the free market. But I would bet 80 to 20 odds that nothing happens. Actually, 90 to 10 that nothing happens. Google stays the company that it is now, and then it won the monopoly case, and then it never gets tried on it again. So they're likely just putting this monopoly thing on so they can't be tried as a monopoly again in the future, or at least it makes it difficult. They'll be like, oh, we already heard this, we already went over this, we're not a monopoly, we proved it in court. And the sooner they do it, the better in this instance, because they're just going to continue to monopolize as time goes on. And eventually it'll be to the point where it's obvious and something needs to be done. But if they can get a ruling on the books in their favor before that time, it'll be very beneficial for Google. I didn't quite understand why everyone's having a hubbubaloo about Microsoft's merger with Activision Blizzard. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. Maybe no one was having a big deal, and obviously it was going to pass. And it did. At least it passed in America, and then they didn't pass it, I think, in England. But if it passes in America, it passes in England. The people in England will revise their take to match whatever the US did. And it makes England look better if they're like, oh, well, we didn't want it, but everyone else said that they wanted it, so we just, you know, went along with it. That's what snake politicians do all the time. People like AOC, they vote with the majority of the Democrats all the time, but then they always can just fall back on saying that it was simply to be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem, or whatever fucking buzzword they want to use, so they can openly talk about their policies while voting an exact opposite of what they're talking about. AOC talks a lot of progressive politics, but if it came down to something like a Medicare for all vote, she would vote against it if it meant that it wouldn't pass otherwise. The only way that she would vote for a Medicare for all policy is if she knew it was 100% going to fail, regardless of her vote. Then she could say what her base wants her to say. But if her vote is the vote that counts, makes the difference between Medicare for all passing or Medicare for all failing, she would 100% go against Medicare for all and make it fail. 100%. And the same is true on the other side of the party. For instance, the idealism, the Republican ideal is minimal government, lowest taxes to provide the most amount of liberty for citizens, right? No Republican president since I've been alive, so Bush and Trump, has reduced the governmental spending or deficit or cut taxes, really. I mean, Trump did a little tax cutting, but it was more tax maneuvering away from some things and into others. Our tax burden did not go down under Trump. And so they're definitely not living up to their ideals as Republicans. So that lets you know where the party's actually at. So if there was a vote to overturn and dismantle the ATF, government organization, it doesn't really need to exist because alcohol is legal, tobacco is legal, and firearms is legal. There doesn't need to be an organization to police those legal things. And the history of the ATF is just all fucked up as well. And if you want to go into their fuck up with Ruby Ridge and Waco, you can go into that as well. But the ATF, dismantling and getting rid of the ATF should be a Republican policy across the board because it fits for what Republicans actually stand for, which is minimal government and conservative fiscal policy. And that's what they talk about, but that's not what they actually stand for. You can find out what they actually stand for by looking what they vote for. And they don't vote for minimal government, and they don't vote for fiscal conservatism. They vote for more wars, expansionary government policies, but they say the opposite. Which works for a lot of people. I guess it probably works for the most important people, which is the people that are dumb enough to go out and vote. And then any type of critique from either side of these idiotic parties, these partisan buffoons, they'll just slip into a whataboutism. If you say, yeah, Trump expanded the budget and didn't do any real cuts, and in Trump's 4 years in office, our debt exploded instead of imploding. We got more and more debt. They would just say, well, it's better than Biden. Which is a complete dodge of the actual problem. And vice versa. Anything you say bad about Biden, they'll just say, well, what about Trump? What about Biden? I've been working on trying to respect the partisan base a little bit more. But I do have a difficult time respecting someone who's red no matter what, or blue no matter what. Or at least doesn't understand that red and blue will always work together if it comes down to the government expanding and getting more money. And the only bickering between the left and the right is where to put the excess money that they don't have, but they definitely want to spend. That's the only real difference. And if you think otherwise, congratulations, you're wrong. Come on, give me my rares. You guys, this energy recharge, start. Oh, they have fast energy shield recharge. Okay. I'll say it's way too fast. So that's kind of in the... Ooh, blue armor. Come on with something good. Life and lightning resistances. This mode is pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. This mode is pretty fun. It's a great change of pace, but it is a little difficult to switch back and forth because they require completely different playstyles. But it is pretty nice. It holds your attention a little better. Warden's Quarters. Still no good blue items. I want a good weapon. Oh, I can't control and do a new instance from here? Oh, that's just fucking rude. I want a yellow or blue weapon at minimum. Something to pump up some of that damage. And since I'm using elemental, I might just path into here temporarily to get some damage numbers. Let's see. Or maybe I'll path over to here to get this bad boy. 'Cause I can't really... I thought I was in town. I got startled. Rawhide. So far, I think the lack of gem availability is probably the hardest part. Because I selected Freeze Pulse. Not really digging it. It's not doing the same damage that Fan of Knives or Ethereal Knives was doing. It's not as good. So normally I would just go buy that other gem. I ain't got it in this instance. I imagine you probably get a support gem from one of the quests. And that's probably a pretty big benchmark. Maybe you get a support gem from killing this fucking warden that I haven't killed yet. And then you can do respawns. You can create another character. Actually, it might not let you transfer that shit over. I don't know. I don't even know. If they let you transfer it over, it might be a good strategy to create new characters to get more support gems. And that's just making the assumption that one of these quests gives you a support gem. Which I think is probably a pretty good assumption to have. But I'm up to being wrong. Or my assumption to be wrong. Freeze Pulse is good for alleyways, though. Kind of sucks for doorways. Where to go? Might be good to go to this cast speed, but I'm so limited on mana that going to the cast speed doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem like the right move. 10 mana on kill might be the right move. Plus 20 to maximum mana. That might be the right move for a little while. You also get 20 mana over here, and then you get life and mana over here. Such tough decisions. I think the life on kill is just gonna make me level up so quick. Like I can go to the ledge once I'm doing enough damage and just blast through trying to get items, because every time I kill somebody I refund my mana cost. Bringing back my EDC League of Legends play. Ooh, gold boots. That's what I was looking for. Oh, 10% movement speed. That's how I fucking do it. Everything I need. Life regeneration, fire res, cold res, movement speed. Cumtastic boots. Now I got this movement speed. No one can fucking run away from me. And more importantly, I can run away from everyone. Look at these boots doing the work. Look at these boots doing the work. So much more damage now that I got these boots. Yes, it is. Don't argue. Now let's get my extra mana. And then mana on kill. Oh, eye holes are sucking it up. And my chin popping out. Fuck those guys. I hate energy shield when you don't have chaos damage. It's so annoying. Now I just need some kind of weapon with more damage on it. Right now I got a white wand. So I need either a blue weapon with some kind of added damage. And then I'm good to go fight the warden. Support jam would be fucking glorious, but I don't think that's in the cards. I do not think it's in the cards. Alright, we are at 2 hours for part 2 of Ruthless. I am in the exact same spot. I have not moved. This has been solo, self-found, hardcore, ancestry league, attempt, blind, whatever buzzwords and catchphrases you want to put.